Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me. And I'm back with the finale of What If Deku could summon anime weapons. And all I have to say, basically, is to make sure to check the description below for my other socials, my Twitch, stuff like that. Check below for my Discord and a GoFundMe that I'm actually promoting at the moment for my family. And if you enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm not gonna waste any more of your time, and we're gonna get right into the finale of this What If. Let's get it. The Nomu on top of the car begins to screech, and a kunai gets thrown out of the car. Both Mirko and Midoriya teleport out of the car, and Mirko kicks the head off the Nomu. Midoriya, you stay here. You need to be safe. Mirko, you know that isn't a good idea. Just let me support you. She shakes her head and just reluctantly agrees. They head off into the city, and they see Nomus all around, and they begin to fight until Midoriya sees someone head into an alleyway. Mirko, I think someone needs help over there. I'll be right back. When he arrives to the alleyway, he sees Ida on the ground, with the hero killer about to strike him with the tip of his blade. Midoriya rushes in and kicks the hero killer away. Ida, are you okay? Midoriya, get out of here. This is not your fight. It's not yours either. The hero killer then begins to get up. Damn, kid. So you are here to help this fake hero? Then you'll die with him as well. Stain charges forward, but using his legendary shield, he blocks the attack. Midoriya then summons a katana with electricity around it, slicing at the hero killer, making him retreat. You're good, kid, but not good enough. Midoriya then throws kunais like crazy at the hero killer, and he begins to dodge, but then he realizes that the kunais aren't meant to even hit him. He looks down at the one in front of him, and Midoriya teleports to it, punching him in the face, then disappearing and teleporting to another kunai. When he appears, a black katana forms in his hand, and it lights ablaze. And he begins to basically just teleporting around, cutting up the hero killer. The hero killer then begins to read his movements and throws a knife at the area where he thinks he will be, cutting Midoriya and making him bleed. He then goes to lick his blood, and Midoriya summons his Whis staff, swinging at him. But mid-swing, Stain licks his blood. Good try, kid, but not good enough. And a staff, really? Well, I will keep it just to respect you while you're in the afterlife. He picks it up and is sent into another realm in the staff. Midoriya then looks up at his staff. Oh, thank God that worked. Now time to get Mirko. Midoriya! Oh no. Mirko then just gets really mad at him, telling him to never do that again. He says okay, and Midoriya takes Stain out of the, basically out of the realm, and they cuff him right when he exits. He isn't taken away, and the internships are, cut short, and everyone is sent back to school. They're given about 2 days off, which Midoriya had time to basically hang out with Katsumi and tell her what happened the last couple of days, in which she slaps him for being basically so reckless. Yeah, I know, I will be more careful, but luckily the Elder Kai gave me that power boost, or I probably would have been dead. The 2 days pass, and they go back to school, and Aizawa begins to explain what the plans are for the rest of the week. Okay, problem children, we have our final exams coming up, so I will be giving you time to study for those written portions, and make sure to be ready for the practical as well. Or you will not be invited to the Forest Lodge. The class gasps, except for Izuku, but they all agree, and for the next 3 days everyone studies and takes their written exam. After they are told to get on their hero outfits, and they head to the gym. Both Katsumi and Izuku walk together to the gym, talking. So Izu, what are we doing for the practical? You know I can't tell you that, my dad would kill me. She turns to him, staring at him with death eyes. Come on, don't look at me like that. It's scary. Izu, tell me. We are doing... He then runs away, being chased by Katsumi, and they reach the gym, where the teachers are waiting. Dad, Katsumi is trying to kill me! Zuko, Katsumi, do this girlfriend-boyfriend stuff later, please. They both blush, and they just begin to listen. Okay, problem children. Normally, we would have everyone fight robots, but we decided that doing so is just no longer practical. So, Class 1A will be fighting the teachers today. All the teams are announced, except for Katsumi and Midoriya, until the very last teacher is announced. And my son and his little girlfriend Katsumi will be facing. A person comes crashing in. I am here. Our very own symbol of peace, All Might. They both smile in excitement at the idea of facing All Might. They then begin to plan. Midoriya tells Katsumi about how he defeated the hero killer and that fighting All Might head on isn't the wisest thing, and that he can't use his super powerful weapons without seriously hurting him anyways. Yeah, we don't want to kill All Might by any means, so let's stay away from your really powerful weapons. Okay, well, let's try this then. The rest of the fights end, and it's now their turn. The fight starts, and Midoriya throws a kunai at the start and runs with Katsumi. They then arrive at All Might. Ha ha ha! Heroes! You want to fight me head on? Midoriya summons tons of kunais, and they both throw them everywhere on the battlefield. Midoriya then summons Whis' staff and begins to teleport around and summons a pistol-like weapon and hits All Might, making him feel a slight shock and stun. All Might tries to hit them, but every time he gets close, Midoriya teleports them both to another kunai, avoiding his attack. Katsumi blasts All Might in the face, and as this happens, Midoriya charges in, wrapping his scarf around All Might while jumping in with his staff. But as he does this, the world around him seems to be in slow motion, all slowed down. He then closes the gap between them, and very quickly, and taps him with his staff, trapping him. Midoriya and Bakugo pass. What was that, Izu? Your speed, it was insane. Yeah, I'm not totally sure what that was either. He then lets All Might out of his staff. Oh, finally. I was in there for an hour, Midoriya. Oh, sorry, All Might. Time works differently in there. He then explains to All Might how it works, and he's actually really impressed by it. Now that all the fights are over, Aizawa tells everyone that that's pass or not, everyone is going to the Forest Lodge. Everyone thanks him, and they all head off home. Katsumi and Izuku hang out for the day before they have to head to the Forest Lodge and do some last-second mile training. The next day comes, and the bus picks up the class, and they head off to the lodge. Izuku and Katsumi sit next to each other while the whole class talks about how much fun this is going to be. The bus stops at the edge of a cliff overlooking the forest, and they are greeted by the Wawa Pussycats. Izuku then summons this gear that seems to allow him to maneuver areas a lot easier. What are you doing, Izu? Just wait for it. The cliff then begins to get pushed over, and he grabs Katsumi and gets off the cliff quickly, watching the rest of his class fall down. Izu, you can let me down now. It's embarrassing. Oh, sorry. He then desummons his gear, pulling out his staff. He looks at his class. Okay, well, see everyone at the camp. He puts his arm around Katsumi and basically just flies away at insane speeds. But to his classmates, it looks like he just straight up teleported. Izu, warning before doing that, please. I feel sick. They both then wait for Aizawa to show up, which he does so about 20 minutes later. Izuku, what are you doing here already? I just used my staff, Dad. I mean, I just flew here really quick. Oh, you figured that thing out? That's good, but you should have at least helped your classmates. I'm sure they'll be fine. A while passes and they show up and get mad at Midoriya, but he just looks at them and starts laughing. until Katame smacks him on the head. They are told to go eat and get changed, and tomorrow is when the real training starts. Midoriya sees a little kid and walks over to him. "Hey little one, what's your name?" The kid tries to punch him, but the Midoriya teleports back to a table he left his kunai at. From a distance, Midoriya talks. "Hey, that wasn't very nice. That was gonna hurt." The kid looks back at him with a serious look. Midoriya then just rolls his eyes and heads to his room after eating. The next day, Aizawa begins to explain what they'll be doing.
"Okay, probably children. Everyone will be training their quirks and are gonna try to improve them as much as possible."
Aizawa explains to everyone what he wants from them
Until he got to Midoriya.
"Okay, son, you know what to do. Go ahead." "Yep, got it." They all look at him and ask if he's getting special treatment or something, but Aizawa responds that they wouldn't be able to handle the training he does anyways. Midoriya for the next week learns how to summon even more weapons and learning how to summon a healing type of wand that he thinks may be able to have a greater effect than even Recovery Girl's healing. He continues to train hard in his combat and the use of Scarf and is seeing increased output, now especially because he had the Elder Kai unlock his potential. So his natural speed is extremely fast, but still obviously nowhere near the speed is with Whis' staff. The last day of the training camp, Midoriya is taking a slight break just sitting out next to a tree, and someone from behind grabs him and drags him into a portal as he falls into forest. The forest lights ablaze. Midoriya then wakes up, and he is strapped to a chair and a dark figure stands in front of him.
"Izuku Midoriya, I have heard many things about you."
"Who are you?"
"Oh, just call me All For One."
Midoriya then thinks back and remembers hearing that name, and his face grows serious. "What do you want from me?"
"I heard you can summon weapons, they say, from different dimensions. So all I need is something from you."
"What, you want a weapon? I'm not a store, man."
"Don't be dumb with me, kid."
Midoriya then drops a tracker out of his sleeve and clicks a button. And he thinks to himself that he is glad that he's been working on summoning other helpful items. The tracker then sends a message to All Might, Aizawa, and all of his friends. "Okay, what do you want from me, All For One?"
"I need you to heal me, kid." "How am I supposed to do that?" "Don't be dumb. I've been keeping an eye on you, and I know you've figured something out."
"Well, I can try, but since it's a new weapon, it's pretty hard to summon. Also, I just got done training, so I'm super fatigued, believe me or not." All For One then tells him that he will leave him be for a bit, and he will be back after he rests for a while. He unties him and tells him to not do anything stupid. Midoriya sits there for a while thinking about what to do, remembering that he could just use a kunai and get out if he wants to, but he wants to get as much information as possible and hopefully get someone to come here. After about 30 minutes of waiting, All For One enters once again.
"Okay, kid. Now you either help me or I take your quirk and do it myself."
Okay, I'll do it." Midoriya then summons a wand of sorts, but as he does this, he summons something in his ear. "Well, I don't know how this works, but..." As he says this, the wall next to him is broken into, and Midoriya teleports to the back of the room to a kunai he planted.
"No need to fear, because I am here."
All Might then begins to fight All For One, and they go crashing out of the building into the city. More villains come to support All For One, but are sent away by him, telling Shigaraki that this is now his turn to shape society. "Izuku, are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine, Dad. Is the class fine?" "Yes, everyone is fine. Now come on." They run out of the building and can see All For One and All Might fighting, with All For One having the slight advantage. "Dad, please don't be mad, please." Izuku, don't even. Midoriya summons his staff and flies toward the battle. That damn kid.
Young Midoriya, you need to...
Before All Might can finish his word, a wand touches his back, and he can feel his once horrible injury somehow disappear, and his once depleted strength come back for the time being.
Whoa, Midoriya, what did you do?
Don't worry about what I did, just win. Midoriya then teleports to a kunai Aizawa was holding, and they run to a far part of the city. Aizawa asks what he did, and he explains that he found a way to heal All Might.
Wait, how did you even know he was hurt?
Come on, Dad, I'm a super fan. I can tell when someone like him is weaker. Plus, even if he wasn't, the wand would just replenish any stamina loss or injuries sustained in general. They then see the city watching All Might fight on the big screen, and he defeats All for One with his United States of Smash. The classes are given one more week off, and everyone is moved into dorms for their safety because of all these villain attacks that have occurred. So Izu, are you excited to be in dorms now? I guess, but Dad's place is really nice to train, but I guess I have the staff. Well, we can hang out more too, as Katsumi gives him sad eyes. He hugs her, saying that of course, and that he is happy they can spend more time together. The next day, everyone goes to school, and Aizawa announces that everyone will be working on their super moves in the gym, and that he will be announcing something else later in the week. The class then heads to the gym, and everyone begins to work on their super moves. Midoriya also decides to work on a super move that he's been thinking about for a while, that he wasn't actually sure would work. He summons a kunai and his lightning short katana, and for a duration of time tries to learn more about them, and actually tries to combine them. After two days, he figures out how to combine them, making a blade that has the same teleportation effects, but it's a lot more effective in battle, and that depending on where he is or where he points, he can actually teleport there, but only over a 20-meter radius. The next day, Aizawa then announces to the class that they will be participating in the Provisional Hero License exam, and he tells everyone to meet him on the bus. They all take the bus to the exam site and are greeted by various schools and head into the building. The proctor explains that the first part of the exam deals with turning off people's lights in like a game of dodgeball of sorts, and that you need to turn off 2 people's lights to actually pass to the next round. Class 1A enters a group, and the majority of people stay together except for Shoto, who goes off on his own. It's probably best if we stick together, but I'd rather just go with Katsumi. So later, guys. Also, be careful. Everyone probably knows your quirks, and they're definitely coming after you. He grabs her hand, and they go away from the group. Hey, where are we going? Well, to eliminate people should be easy enough. They then find a huge group of people, and he summons his staff, dashing in, tapping 4 people quickly, and going back to Katsumi. They enter and tag the 4 people out, and send them back out of the staff. The people stand in shock at what just happened, and that the area felt so different, and it was so hard to move, and basically some couldn't even really move at all. They head to the waiting area and kind of just hope for the best in terms of their classmates. But if the training told them anything, that their classmates would be fine. The first part of the exam finishes, and the entirety of Class 1A pass, with it coming down to the wire, with the last 7 spots being filled by students from their class. The proctor then announces the next portion will be a rescue portion of the exam, in which students will be graded on how well they can rescue people. The exam starts, and Izuku heads off with a group of about 5 people, mostly though from other classes, but also Katsumi, and he clears out rubble using his staff and takes the people back using a kunai, teleporting them back and forth, basically to the safe site where that Momo has made. After about 5 minutes of successful rescue, a siren begins to go off. What the heck is that? Tons of fake villains enter, led by Gang Orca, one of the top heroes. Oh, now this will be fun. Izuku, where are you? Midoriya is then gone in an instant, standing in front of the huge horde of villains. And Gang Orca looks at him. Little Aizawa, I've seen you on the news and you're impressive, but not impressive enough. Henchman, take him out. As Gang Orca says this, Midoriya pulls out what he deems to be his dimensional blade. The sword has a red blade with a purple handle, and he points it at the group of villains and Gang Orca. He smiles. Small fry villains is not what I want to fight. He then slices through the air right in front of him, tearing into it, kind of like if it was paper, as if the air in front of him was actually able to be cut. And when he does this, glass-like projectiles emerge with a radius as far as the villain stood, and it strikes both Gang Orca and his large group of villains, defeating all of the small fry villains in an instant. Gang Orca begins to think that this kid is insanely strong. Gang Orca charges forward, about to blast Midoriya, but as he does this, he teleports to a kunai that he placed 5 meters from his original spot. When he does this, Todoroki blasts Gang Orca with a blast of fire, and another student blasts him with a large gust of air, combining into a vortex, trapping him. Damn kids, that was smart, but you better have another plan. Gang Orca pulls out a water bottle, but as he does this, time stops. And seemingly everything begins to play out once again, but backwards. And Midoriya stands right before being charged at. And this time, he dodges. But using his staff, he slightly taps Gang Orca where his water is and removes it. Fire and wind swirl once again in a vortex around Gang Orca as what just happened just moments ago. Damn kids, this was smart, but you better have another plan when He realizes that his water is gone, and due to the extreme heat, he actually passes out. The proctor announces the end of the exam, and everyone in Class 1A actually passes, and they head back to their dorm and celebrate. In which no one else actually knows, Midoriya figured out a way to actually turn back time, not that long, but enough to basically just change the outcome of the battle. The next day, Aizawa greets the class, and 3 students walk in and introduce themselves as the Big Three. And one of them, by the name of Tamaki, tries to speak, but he's too scared and turns around. The girl of the group, by the name of Nejire, talks to the class, but then gets super off topic until Aizawa tells them that this is super unethical. Until the last person, by the name of Mirio, just decides to have the class fight him. They arrive at the gym, and Aizawa calls Midoriya over. Izuku, come here please. What's up, Dad? Well, you can't fight him. It will take the point out of all this. What? That isn't fair. I want to fight him. Son, please. I know how you are. You'll find a way to beat him, and the reason for this won't matter as much. Izuku crosses his arms and basically just reluctantly agrees. He then watches as his classmates are destroyed, and even Katsumi is defeated pretty easily as well. Hey, Katsumi, are you okay? Yeah, Izu, I'm fine. He's just super strong. Yeah, I know. I wanted to fight him, but my dad wouldn't let me. She laughs at his pouting, and they head back to class. Mirio then explains that he has gotten this strong because of his work study, and that first years will see great benefits if they decide to do one as well. Aizawa then tells them to try their best to find one over the next couple days, and he dismisses the class. Midoriya walks out with Katsumi, but is stopped by Mirio. Hey, little Aizawa, you did not just call me that. Yes, I did. Izuku shakes his head. Okay, what's up, Mirio? He explains that Night Eye actually wants to meet him, and most likely wants to add him to his agency for a work study. Midoriya's eyes basically just light up because of how cool he thinks Night Eye is, and he accepts the invite to meet him, and Kasumi hugs him, saying how happy she is for him on the chance to meet such a top-ranked hero like Night Eye. The next day, Mirio takes Midoriya to Night Eye's agency, and he sends him into his office. "Hello, Sir Night Eye. It's a pleasure to..." Night Eye then hugs Midoriya.
"Thank you, young child, for helping All Might that day."
Night Eye lets go. "No problem, Sir Night Eye. I did what any hero would do."
"No, you did way more than that. Than what any pro would do. So I commend you for that, and I would love if you would join my agency for a work study."
Midoriya agrees, and Night Eye explains to Midoriya that there is a gang called the Shiha Zaikai that he's been doing an investigation on, and that they have been trying to find their leader, Overhaul. He explains that starting tomorrow he will go on patrols with Mirio, and if they find this man by any chance, do not engage, and de-escalate the situation the best you can. Midoriya then goes back to the dorms and meets with Katsumi. "So, how was it, Izu?" "Good, he hugged me and thanked me for helping All Might." "Are you serious? That is amazing, you got recognition from Night Eye?" Midoriya smiles and hugs her. "I never knew my life could be this good after what happened to me as a child." He then sheds a tear, and the next day he goes to Night Eye's agency. Both Mirio and Midoriya then go on their first patrol. "So, Aizawa, what's your quirk exactly?" "Well, it's complicated, but let's just say I can summon weapons, or I guess items, sorta, from different dimensions." "That is insane, but like, how did you get so strong then?" Well, training and something else, but honestly the other part is kinda hard to explain." As he says this, a little girl runs into Midoriya out of an alleyway. "Oh, I'm sorry, little one. Are you okay?"
"She's fine. My daughter is just a little clumsy sometimes."
Both Mirio and Midoriya realize that this is Overhaul. Mirio begins to de-escalate and saying that kids can be a handful sometimes. Midoriya then can feel the little girl shaking as if she's completely terrified. He looks at her to see bandages all over her, and he remembers the time and way back when his mother was the way she was acting. Maybe what could have happened to him that night, and what happened to him could have happened to him that night when she went to jail. He looks at Mirio, and Midoriya summons his staff, and in a blink of an eye, he basically puts Overhaul into his staff. "Hey, little one, what's your name?" "I'm Eri." "Here, Eri, grab this, okay? And the guy that you'll meet, he's very, very nice." She then just does so and teleports away using a kunai. Midoriya then explains to Mirio that he put Overhaul in a dimension that he trains in, and explains how to properly move within that dimension, so Mirio can also move as well. They both enter and see Overhaul struggling to move.
"Overhaul, what did you do to that little girl?" "You damn heroes don't understand. Eri is gonna change this society. She represents change."
Overhaul begins to stand but is struggling to do so, and Mirio punches him back to the ground. "Midoriya, let's get him back to the police." They exit the staff and bring him to Night Eye. They then get quirk canceling cuffs and put them on Overhaul and take him out of the staff. Midoriya brings him to the police, telling him that he won't be hurting anyone else, especially not that little girl. As he says this, a giant person comes crashing into the precinct, grabbing Overhaul and breaking the cuffs. Overhaul then disassembles the giant looking person and combines it with himself. "Now you all will die!" His fist comes flying down, but everything just around him freezes. Now Midoriya is back to the time he once was, right outside the precinct, and he gets a police officer to bring in Overhaul in instead. Down the street, he sees a massive person running toward the area. He then uses his scarf, wrapping it around the person's head, kicking him in the face, and stabbing him with an electrified or a lightning short katana, knocking him out. Police come out and thank him for the cooperation and all the help. He then tells them that that's just what heroes do, and heads back to the Night Eye agency. Thank you, Midoriya, for all the help you've done on this case. It was honestly amazing. No, Night Eye, thank you for having me here. And that is the end of this What If. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And also comment down below any suggestions you have for any future What Ifs. I know that the anime has already gotten to the class 1A versus 1B arc. But I've decided that about mid-August or so is when I will actually start having my What Ifs for My Hero Academia normally go into that class 1A versus 1B. And that's where I'm going to start normally stopping, unless we're on special occasion and I'll go into the manga. Because I know there's some people that are anime strictly only, so I want to wait a little bit. And I know that we're a couple episodes now past that whole arc, so I wanted to wait a little bit longer. So I know that if you haven't seen that part already, that it's not my fault if I spoil it. But yeah, that is the plan. I wanted to say that now because I know there's probably going to be some people asking about that. But yeah, if you enjoyed, like I said, please leave a like and subscribe, and check the description out for any links that I have below: my Twitch, my Discord, a GoFundMe, and all that. And I want all of y'all to have an amazing day. Later.